All right, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can, yes. All right, the time is 7:02, and I will call this meeting to order, and maybe have roll call, please.
Mayor Reichel,
Here?
Pro Tem Hanrahan,
Here.
Trustee Brittenall,
Here.
Trustee Klassen,
Here.
Trustee Engelhardt,
Here.
Trustee Poston,
Here.
Trustee Siebert.
Here.
All right, may we rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, be seated. The first item on tonight's agenda is public comments. Persons desiring to make a public comment on items not on the agenda, please activate the raised hand function in the meeting program. Or Sheila, any phone calls or emails in regards to non-agenda items?
No, sir, I did not hear from anyone.
Thank you.
I do not show any raised hands, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Did we have anybody sign in?
We do. We have a Carol, Barry, and Denny Ray.
Okay. Carol?
Yes.
Would you like to come on up to the, are you here for public comments or to talk about the
No, I'm here to talk about the liquor license for Wild.
Roots? Okay. Or Wild Coffee? Okay. All right. And Denny, are you here for public comments or for the street project? Public, all right.
Neither one of them. I'm gonna stand up for a minute. I'm here to say, we're never all gonna agree on this 8th Street. I am 10 days from signing and not being able to be a property owner in, as we all know, my favorite town in America. But I'm standing up here because I really want you guys to know that I have the utmost of respect for what you're doing, who you are, and that you're representing this town. And I don't think you're likely to hear that as often as you deserve to be. And so that's what I'm here for. The rest of it, done. And it didn't even take 3 minutes. Thanks again,
Yep.
really.
Thank you very much, Denny.
Day and Historic Park, the best.
Well, thank you, Denny.
Thank you. Yes.
Thanks, Denny.
Okay. And that's it?
That's it.
That's it? Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
You were looking at me. I was looking at
I
my
was,
computer.
you were looking over there. Okay. All right, then the next item up is the consent agenda. This contains the minutes of the June 23rd, 2025 Board of Trustees meeting, a letter of support for the Shoshone water rights, and the renewal of the Burning Mountain Pizza and Subs hotel and restaurant liquor license. Not sure I necessarily need to recuse myself, but just to state for the record, I do have a child that works at Burning Mountain Pizza and Subs. I do not have any financial interest in his well-being of getting a paycheck or not at that store. So would anyone like to discuss anything on the consent agenda or make a motion?
I had a quick question about Burning Mountain Pizza. It says staff recommends approval will follow up with the installation of a barrier around the patio area. If we approve them now, are we forfeiting our ability if they don't put the barrier in? Not that I believe that they would do that, but just in case.
So that is actually going to be a Deputy Clerk Malsbury question.
Malsbury question.
Okay, so realistically, they were approved a long time ago without that barrier. I asked them to put it up for security reasons because of the patio area being right in the parking lot. She has agreed to put the barrier up with signs. The issue was the barrier was back ordered. So they have the corner pieces, but they don't have the full side pieces to put in. So I don't think that there will be an issue.
And ultimately, it's not a compliance issue to begin with.
It is, but it's not.
Well,
I'm
it
asking
kinda
them to
is or
do
it
it for
isn't.
security reasons, but it wasn't on their original map when they first got their license. Because that patio was put in later as a modification. When they took over the space next to them is when they added in the patio. And it's not on their map.
Okay. but they've updated all the other documentation with us.
Everything else is updated and documented with the state and everything, except for an outline of that barrier that I asked them to put up.
Okay, thank you.
And I would assume that's part of the approval of this liquor license, so if it doesn't get put up, it would give us an option to revoke the
Then I
liquor
just won't
license.
issue it until it's done.
Done, okay.
Yeah.
Easy enough.
Okay. All right, any other questions or discussions about the consent agenda?
Great letter of support,
For Shoshone, yes.
yes. Yes. Thought that was very well done.
Okay.
Yeah, that was all written.
Was it well written? Yes?
Yes. Good job, Mr. Mayor, representing the town on that issue. We appreciate it.
Okay. Anything else? No? Okay. Would someone like to make a motion?
Mr. Mayor, make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second?
Okay. Motion by trustee Seifert to approve the consent agenda as presented, seconded by trustee Poston. All's in favor?
Aye.
All's opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Do any board members have any conflicts of interest with agenda items tonight?
Nope.
None either? How about any agenda changes?
We have none.
Okay. Any changes by the board?
No.
Okay. All right. Next up is the water plant construction update. Dan, come on up. Lots of good news, saving millions. Let's do it.
Thank you. Dan Galvin with Garney Construction. This month's update for the town of Silt Water Treatment Plant construction project, as always, starting with health and safety. No incidents to report to date. Continue to run a good site and continue with cleanup over there. Plant staff and visitors continue to wear the proper PPE. As reported last time, our traffic has slowed down considerably. Now it's really just small vehicles and a few delivery trucks in and out during the week. Continue with weather awareness. Check the heat index daily with our crews, have them fill out paperwork, remind them of how much water to drink, and then occasionally looking out for lightning. Anything strikes within 6 to 8 miles, usually take cover until it gets farther away. Construction progress, dirt work mostly complete on the site. Really all that remains is 2 roadways, one under our construction trailers and one when another large piece of equipment, the plate settler, gets demoed at the end of the project. Some of the pictures will show interior progress in the break room, moving along with paint, coatings, and interior finishes. Around the site, got the concrete driveways and sidewalks complete. And then our mechanical crews continue with the process equipment installation and the interior piping between said equipment. Electrician remains on site as we get this pipe in and some sensors. He's running this conduit to those devices. Chemical equipment, as we've gotten some additional coatings on the floor in the chemical area, we're able to move along with chemical equipment and some small bore 1/2 inch to 1 inch piping that will move that chemical around the site and into the process piping. And then we started recently and picked up progress and frequency of commissioning meetings. We're meeting with plant staff, the design team, vendors, and other parties that will have a part in starting the plant up here in the near future. And speaking of that schedule, we continue to track September performance testing and then roll into an early October 21-day test, which would be the last activity to make sure that plant is up and functioning to the specifications there. And as I mentioned, very few subcontractors on site now, just a plumber that's been around for a bit, our electrician, and HVAC is now on site. Some of his equipment was a little behind, so now that's arriving. We got them on site doing duct work, and then in the next few weeks, just fly their equipment up onto the flat roof there. Budget contingency log. We continue to track some electrical updates, a couple of breakers here and there that we're upsizing for future considerations. Looking at equipment in the new plant, possibly a new flow meter in one area.
And then they continue to look at intake and distribution as well. Recently, the improvements to the distribution pipeline out there in front of the Golden Gate gas station has been considered and is out there with some their subcontractors looking at that piece of work. Billing to date, 18.7 million out of the 24, which represents about 76%. Last month, a little bigger bill as the process equipment has continued to roll in. So moving forward, Garney laborers doing the pipe work, electrician wrapping their stuff up, and some of that HVAC stuff should round out the billings for the project. With that, glad to open it up for questions.
Did we ever get the generator up and going? Or-
They're there this week, so it got fuel today. They're landing the wires, and then they'll load test it tomorrow, and then the plant staff will receive training on it Wednesday.
Okay. All right. Just a lot of power outages lately, so.
They haven't affected us.
Affected you down there? Good, nice.
Fortunately.
Maybe it's just my house rolling through.
Yeah.
Okay. That's looking really good. Excited that this project has stayed pretty much on
Yes.
schedule. So
Yes.
it's a big project. A lot of these things you see some major overruns, but you guys have done well to this point. So hopefully this last little sprint to the finish line goes good too.
Yeah, it's tracking that way.
All right, good. Okay.
I don't have anything. It looks really good. Yeah, thank you.
Nice.
Okay.
Thank you, Dan. Impressive. Thank you.
Nope, we're good.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, everybody.
Only a couple more of these.
Right. They'll be cutting the ribbon.
Yes.
Thanks, Dan.
Next item on the agenda is the Wild Coffee Roasters LLC hotel restaurant liquor license. This is a public hearing, and I will turn this over to Deputy Clerk.
Good evening. Wild Coffee Roasters has applied for a hotel and restaurant liquor license. The service that is proposed is the patrons will come in and order a specialty drink or a few craft beers off a menu. So they will not have a full bar service at their location. There's going to be limited amount of product. There's going to be one locked cabinet in which she intends to keep the liquor, and then she'll have a kegerator with 3 or 4 taps. Those taps will also be removed from the kegerator when they're not serving alcohol for security reasons. The neighborhood petition was completed with 19 signatures. There were no oppositions on the petition. Staff does realize that there is other establishments with liquor licenses in the vicinity. Those establishments do have different licenses, and Wild Roasters is going to offer a unique service. So they will just offer certain specialty drinks at certain times that they'll just come and order. So basically can't just come in and order a mixed drink that's not on what she's serving that day. The applicant has also asked for concurrent review between the local and the state authorities. She has not purchased the equipment or installed it yet, so she would like to wait for the local and the state approval. Once that's done, she will purchase and install the equipment and the necessary documentation on the walls as far as the warning signs. At that point, we will do the final inspection to make sure everything's in. So the staff is asking for approval of the license with 2 conditions, and one being the final inspection of the property. And the second is I'm still missing a couple serving certificates from their staff. And then I'm thinking owner.
Okay. We do have the applicant here.
Yes, we do.
If you'd like
Misty?
to- I don't know if you want to come up and speak, or
There's no requirement.
there's no
that you
requirement
have
if you
to.
don't want to, yeah. No? Okay. All right. So, since they have the language in here to offer a daily drink and craft beers, is that what limits them to that? Because with a hotel and restaurant license, they
The
could,
restaurant is basically the restaurant license. It's how the state defines this particular license. She qualifies for that with the food that she serves. She can have a full bar if she chose to do that, but this is what the service she chooses to do. If she chooses to get a full bar in the future, she will have to go through a modification, though.
based on the
Based-
language in this.
Based on the language that she's proposing for her service, but also because of the way the establishment is laid out, she would have to show where the bar is, show where more storage is, or so forth. So right now, she'll be just approved with the one small storage cabinet and the kegerator.
Okay, great. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Are there any other questions or
No, I have
anything
no.
by the board before I open up the public hearing?
I don't have a quick question. I'm just thinking of the place set up, the way that they've opened it up, and it does have like a different feel as I've been in, other than just a coffee shop. I feel that it could potentially be a great idea, especially because they're not making the emphasis alcohol. It's just something fresh, something different. That's how it sounded to me as I read it, how it was presented. It could be just one of more like those things that attract people to the downtown area potentially, that are interested on not just having the coffee, but maybe just having a different, not there just to drink, a person that's going for a couple of different fun drinks potentially. So I don't see it potentially as, the purpose is more alcohol in the downtown, but more of a fun opportunity of taking a friend, and instead of coffee, just having a fresh drink instead. I don't know if anyone else feels differently.
No, I agree with you 100%. It's still going to be coffee's priority, and then the alcohol will be secondary. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm all for it. We're here to support the businesses and help make them prosper, and anything we can do to help that, I think it's worth it.
Okay.
Is there going to be a possibility to buy it? I noticed there was the language retail in the description, so people could walk in and buy it and then take it with them, sort of a to-go, if you will, but for alcohol?
Maybe at one point, but she has not applied for a takeout permit.
Okay.
So
That would require a further
it would
review.
require additional documentation and approval.
And it looks like the business's hours aren't changing either.
No.
Still till
7
till
to-
5 p.m. Okay.
Can you, if you want to speak.
Yeah, if you,
go ahead
you
and
can come
on
up,
to the table.
Misty, and kind of
Yeah, just
explain
a-
if there's additional, about your menu too, if you want to tell them.
I think we discussed potentially opening till 7 p.m. So it's not written in stone. We're still kind of hanging on, like, are we even going to get the permit? And so that the 7 p.m. was kind of our limit.
Yeah, we were thinking if it was something where I'm Desmond Starr, by the way, who's one of the owners, and if it was something where people could meet right after work, grab a beer with a friend or a cocktail with a friend, very limited cocktail menu, and then basically just craft beers. We're lining that up right now with distributors to have just some really nice beers. We're not going to be a place where there's going to be heavy drinking or anything like that. That's not our vibe. That's not what we're about. We're a coffee roastery and cafe that we're looking to find just some different ways that we can still have people come. A lot of times in the afternoons, it can get slow because people aren't always wanting to drink coffee at 4:30 in the afternoon or anything like that. And so we're looking for what are a few more things where we could still get people to come and hang out, have the space open for people, and also find ways to add little bits of profitability to our business. So
So they'd have to get a modification if they wanted to extend their hours?
No, what, she wouldn't need a modification. It depend on what the board would choose. I mean, we could go ahead and approve it till 7, but this is what the menu the hours that she had submitted at this time.
All right, thank you.
So,
Just generationally, there is a trend now that like a lot of this new generation, they are more into like different drinks other than alcoholic drinks. So there's like a mix going on. So if you're going out with a different group of friends, how convenient it is that you still have the menu of coffee, but you're not interested in alcohol, but some of your friends may be. And yeah, many times I've wanted to go in the afternoon. Sometimes you guys close a little bit earlier. So I think that would be awesome for Silt to have a place like that be open for, potentially extended hours.
The other thing that we had talked about was on the weekends to be able to do something like a small brunch menu, like brunch drinks. So just some real simple things to go along with things, and then finding more food options. Simple art. If you've been in, you see we don't have a full kitchen, so we have to keep everything as simple as possible. But yeah, some extra food menus that we could add on the weekends to kind of have like at least a small brunch feel. So.
And I've seen you guys sort of adjust your hours to find what works for you, and you're finding what works for you. It's really cool. So, yeah, I think we should.
I like the idea a lot. My 2 points of concern are if it's takeout, that changes the math a little bit in terms of local law enforcement and what operational burdens does it put on them. The other one, which isn't, I don't know, it could turn into a parking problem, which in a certain way is a good problem to have. Too many people coming to town and not enough places to park. So I almost welcome, but don't welcome it at the same time. That was why I asked about the hours. I know when I go past there, 6:30, 7, 8 o'clock at night, the whole street is usually full on your side, and it's usually folks going to Miners Claim or one of the taco trucks. Again, I don't think it's prohibitive. I just want to make sure that we're thinking through those unintended consequences of expanding the hours. But I really like the idea. Are you guys doing the same thing in Glenwood? Are you in the same process?
Not yet.
Very beginning stages. We're having problems with the hotels. They already have like a liquor license in there, so they have to like redraw boundary lines and stuff.
They'd have to cut us out, and then with of their boundary for the whole place, and then it would have to. They don't want us to do beer if we're there at all because of the brew pub, and so we're open to it.
I was just curious because
Yeah.
the demand side is really strong there, of course. But
Yeah, it would
this is a good laboratory for that, right?
Yeah.
In so many ways.
We might just do. It might be like a wine bar at night there eventually, if we can make that work or something. Just a quiet place to get a nice glass of wine with your date or something. So
It's a great idea.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea also. The reason I asked about the restrictions of what you plan to serve is because in 6 months that might change. So I don't know if it's better to reach for the stars now so you're not reapplying for a modification in 6 months. I don't know I don't even know if we could have patio service out.
We
on the-
cannot have patio service
Okay.
down there. The sidewalk's just a little too narrow.
Narrow.
Too narrow of a spot, yeah.
But
I was gonna say
even
that.
the takeout service or
Right.
the hour adjustment, I don't want to go through this again in 6 months. I'd like to make sure we're doing everything that you want. I mean, it's easy to do in 6 months. It's just, if we take care of it now instead of then.
it's tough. We haven't done this before, so it's just that new thing, and so we didn't know what we know. We don't want to be is, a rowdy drinking place. That's not our vibe. That's not who we are as owners, and that's not what we'd want to be. So that's why we kind of were thinking of kind of a simple, really good craft cocktail menu, and then some good craft beers and kind of something simple. But yeah, I don't know if
Okay.
6 months from now if that's like, well, this is working, but we still don't want to be. We're not going to be a place running like specials on Coors Light for a bunch of people to just drink one after the next. You know, it's not going to be like that. That's,
So maybe the only thing we should discuss modifying at this approval would be going to 7 PM?
Yeah, and then I just wonder if we wanted to have like a private event or have some special event or, you know, holiday party, does that affect, do we have to come in for those later hours requests as well?
So realistically, the town does not have a limitation on serving hours.
Okay.
So it would basically go by the state at that point. So I don't know how the board feels. We can go off their hours, or we just don't state what hours you want, or you can do it off the state, which is, I think, 2 o'clock in the
It would make
morning.
sense to do the states.
And
the
I just
states
want to
things
point
just to
out
give them the
also,
flexibility.
if anybody's
my opinion on it.
concern, is the type of license that they have applied for, which is basically the restaurant side, is that her food and other menu items there's a certain percentage of alcohol. So her main money maker still needs to be her food and her coffee.
Right.
And so she is limited on that, and she does know what her percentages are. So they're right, it's not going to be an open bar.
Not going to be a bar.
Well, that's their intent anyway.
Yeah.
It's not, yeah.
Well, but like for the hours, for example, I think they're telling us your plans, and we appreciate that, but we don't necessarily have to hold you to that just because that's what you're thinking right now. It's an evolving thing, and so I'm not going to think of it as like, oh, you told us that, and then you do something else if you decide. I mean, that's not how I would see it. This is what you're anticipating right now, and I don't think we have to set a time.
As long as it just doesn't violate any state laws.
I think we
it should
just
be
said,
fine.
I think the motion would be for time to mirror the state regulations.
Yep. That makes sense.
And use cases, right, so that they'd have the flexibility of using it as an event space. Again, possibly, but not definitively. I think it's another great use case. Lord knows we don't have enough of those around here, so the more the better.
Okay. All right, anything else from the board or the applicants or deputy clerk before we open up the public hearing?
I don't have anything.
All right, seeing nothing, then the time is, thank you, 7:29 PM, and I will open up the public hearing in regards to Wild Coffee Roasters LLC Hotel and Restaurant Liquor License. Persons desiring to make a public comment on this agenda item, please activate the raise hand function in the meeting program, and then we'll go to our in-chambers comments. So, Sheila, did you have any phone calls or emails in regards to this agenda item?
I only received one email, and Miss Berry is actually present tonight to speak.
Okay. All right. Do you have any raised hands?
We do not, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. All right. Then I will invite you up to the.
If you'll forgive me, I'm going to stand.
Okay, that's okay. We just got to
As
make
long
sure
as
we
you're
get
at the
you
microphone, you're good.
recorded. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. If you could just state your name and address for the record, and then.
My name is Carol Berry, and I live in senior housing across the corner here. I've been in Silt 11 years, lived up on Silt Mesa Estates for 4 years, and then I've been over here for a little over 6. And first of all, I want to thank all of you. I think maybe it would be better if I tell you a little bit about who I am and why I'm here. This is something I've never done. I've never showed up at any kind of a government meeting, for lack of another way to put it, or talked to people typically about issues. It's not who I typically am, so I'm a little bit out of my normal way of doing things. I will tell you at the same time, even though I don't have not had all of your names, I pray for all of you every day, for all of the authorities in Silt and in Colorado, so I feel like I have a vested interest to be here, in you as well as in the town. And my friends don't know why I'm here. I didn't talk to them first. I have only gone step by step, trying to figure out exactly what I was supposed to do, how much information I was supposed to have ahead of time. not meaning to be negligent and unprepared. I've just done what I felt I was led to do. I've gotten most of the information here. It has not, however, changed my mind. It's just definitive. Because I live in the housing there, and because of my health issues, I spend a lot of time out on the patio, which is at the alley. I see a lot that goes on that I haven't talked to anybody about. I'm very concerned about one more establishment that has the ability to open a path that can be destructive both for Silt and for individuals that I see on a regular basis. And I don't want to see that happen. It's easy to make a decision about a business and about the walls and the times and each of the little pieces. And I've heard each one of you say, you think it's great. I don't. Because I'm concerned about the people. We already have 2 liquor stores, and maybe there's more. I only know the ones on Main Street. And if you pay very much attention, you'll see me go in Titus's all the time because I choose to buy Coca-Cola in there instead of carrying them and trying to deal with that issue. So it's not that I'm against alcohol consumption. I just think we have enough already. We have Miners Claim. We have the convenience stores. Somebody told me that there's some kind of an establishment on the back street. I haven't been over there. It's too far for me to walk. I don't even know what it is, except I was told that there's alcohol there. I think it's enough. So I will read the letter that I sent to Sheila because I didn't see the deadline on objections. And I wasn't included in a survey for the neighborhood. I don't know if anybody else in my building was. But I'll read this to you because I just sent it to her, trying to find out if I could still put a dog in the race. To whom it may concern, I did not see the 10th of June objection deadline at the bottom of the posting at Wild until this afternoon. That was yesterday. Presuming I need to object in writing and hoping this can still be put in relevant hands. Quote, Silt does not need more liquor, not even Kahlua and coffee. I live immediately behind in the 700 block of Home Avenue. There is one liquor store to my right, one restaurant to my left, another liquor store at the short block away in the roundabout, and 2 convenience stores. Thankfully, the pot shop is gone from where it was because my apartment faces the back of the pot shop, and I know exactly too much about too many people. You have no idea what I have observed and experienced in 6.5 years. If the management of Wild does not see the door they're opening and not ask for this, I will ask for it to be stopped. No. No. And if I could scream, it would be no. Please don't. You don't know the door you're opening and the consequences. I've watched things in people's lives progress by doors being opened as simple as somebody smoking where they're not supposed to. And then one more comes and sits in the same place. And they're not supposed to be there either. And one more comes, and it's crossing lines. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you for coming in.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. Would anybody else from the public like to speak to this agenda item? Okay.
Feel how much I think of her too.
Okay. Then the time is 7:36 PM, and I will close the public hearing and open this up to further discussion by the board or a motion.
I'll just say, as we move along and have more restaurants in town and more entertainment, different types of space in town, and with the baseline of the intentionality of the business owners, I'm still comfortable in moving ahead and approving. I know that they're not out there setting off to entice people in the wrong way, and I believe everyone has freedom of choices, and we hope to have healthy establishments with, respectful ways and treat it that way. And with that, I would move still to approve that.
I'll second.
Trustee Poston.
That was motion.
That was your motion?
That was
Okay.
the motion? Okay.
All right. Motion by trustee Poston to approve the hotel and restaurant liquor license for Wild Coffee Roasters LLC. I am going to ask for a point of clarification. Is that with the amendment to follow the state guidelines as far as hours go? This is for you, Poston. Is that what you were intending?
The hours, it aligns with the state, because she mentioned that specifically for private parties, and I thought we were all in agreement with that
Okay.
as well.
I just want to make sure that gets into the.
Okay, yes.
That was your intent, so, okay. So again, a motion by trustee Poston to approve the hotel and restaurant liquor license for Wild Coffee Roasters LLC with the amendment for the time of operation to mirror the state regulations. Mayor Hanrahan, do you still want to second that?
Yes.
Okay. And seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Hanrahan. So, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All's opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, guys. And thank you for coming in and speaking.
Yeah, she did an outstanding job for never being in front of and
Yes.
doing this
Yes.
before, so.
Takes a lot of courage.
Next item on the agenda is the 8th Street Improvement Plan, authorization to go to bid. And I will turn this over to Director Lundin.
The 8th Street Improvement Program, we've had 2 meetings with the residents and business owners. They were very constructive, and we got some good information. I believe everybody got a little bit, some more than others, but I think we're doing the right thing, and staff would recommend that you approve the plans as presented to you, and we move on with the project.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and, I do have some words to speak, but I was going to let everyone else go ahead
Go ahead for.
and jump in.
Go ahead, I'm still, yeah, thank you.
Okay. I want to thank staff for the time they spent with the town. At a previous meeting, I had mentioned that I didn't feel like it was my duty sitting on this board to go out into the public and basically intervene with Director Lundin's position. I think he's done a great job working with the community and the businesses, and came to us with a solid plan. My opinion on public right-of-way is exactly that. It's a public right-of-way. Whether someone put a fence in without a survey and now it's on the public right-of-way, a tree's grown for 40 years and it's encroached on the public right-of-way. Whether it's trees are beautiful, fences give people a nice yard, but then you also have people parking boats and RVs and utility vehicles and dump trucks in public right-of-ways, using it as their own personal space. It's not that property owner's property. It belongs to every citizen of this town. So I appreciate what our director has done, working with everybody to come up with a plan that I'm ready to see get into motion and get completed.
And moving forward with our other projects, 5th Street, 4th Street, 6th Street, we will continue to reach out to the citizens and let them know what's going on and get their input on everything.
I appreciate what you're saying about trying to save certain trees. I think, we can accept requests for variances because something's historic or maybe it's a tree that has a historic value or something. So I just think it's good to work with what's there, but also, I mean, at the end of the day, we have to move forward with the project. So it seems like hopefully everybody found a good, happy medium.
I hope so.
What's your timeline on this? Just kind of a rough idea.
Well, we're looking at it, where I'm hoping to get started by end of August. We're looking at our budgets. We have 2 years to get the project done through the federal mineral lease grant. So we'll discuss that with staff, see where our budget's at, and go from there. Hopefully August, and we can have it done by September before the plants close, the asphalt plants close.
The whole thing then, or all?
The whole thing.
All of it, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, there aren't any utility infrastructure in this project, is there?
Just the manholes, the sanitary manholes. We're going to reseal them. Some of them need new steps, so we'll have a company come in and put new ladders in them.
Uh-huh.
And so there's a couple brick manholes that we will reseal and add stairs to them.
Oh, okay. And then storm drain, is there going to be any drainage?
There is some storm drain on the west side that will tie into the Main Street storm drain.
Okay. No, I mean, this was a compromise, and it appears through, various meetings and hard work of staff, and it appears that you guys came to a compromise that I'm assuming everybody's agreeable with.
I believe so.
Yeah, and then, my biggest concern is parking by that trailer park, but I believe that's going to be resolved.
We'll do something behind the curb and gutter there, behind the sidewalk, where we deter people from parking back there. There's only like 10 feet, but we'll deter them from even trying to park there.
All right, nice. No, I think this is a good project. It needs to be done, and I'm going to kind of, if we can get the stripes painted on 7th Street too, and that little bit of sidewalk on Home Avenue across the street.
We just bought
that
a
would
new
be-
paint striper,
That'd be awesome.
so we'll get it done. We have some sidewalk work out in front of Town Hall to get done before the election,
Uh-huh.
so we're kind of holding off on the striping till we get that done.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
I don't have anything else.
Anything else? All right. Anything else? The only thing I want to add is, Denny, thank you for voicing your concerns throughout this project and being involved in your community. It's nice to see people that care. So wherever you're headed to, I hope it's wonderful, and we're going to miss you.
Thanks. I'll come back to visit.
No.
I hope someone's still.
Okay.
I just want this town to continue to be the greatest, and thank you for saying that. That's very kind of you.
Okay.
I'll be glad.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, make a motion to approve the 8th Street Improvements Plan and authorization to go to bid.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion by trustee Seifert to approve the 8th Street Improvement Plan and authorization to go to bid, seconded by trustee Clausen. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Do we have to make a motion on all these continuances?
No.
No? We can just gloss over them?
I have a quick question about the continuance, though. Sorry
Okay, no,
to
that's
slow
okay.
things down. Is the continuance or the lack of progress due to town staff being busy or not getting something done, or is it due to the applicant?
The applicant failed to submit any of the documents that they needed to submit until the middle of the week last week, and we did not have time to review any of those documents.
The middle
Prior
of
to
last
this-
week being Wednesday.
Yep.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that got read into the record because there's been some rather heated conversation about who's doing what when and who's not following through when they need to, and there've been a lot of accusations leveled at town staff for not doing things in a timely manner. I just wanted to make sure that got included, so thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it says right here, the information necessary to proceed with the second reading and approval of the SIA was not provided to the town. So it sounds like it's on them.
Yeah. And this is not, I mean, this is not a small review. This is a project change, so
Yeah.
expecting our staff to get something done in 2 days and have it ready for packet is unreasonable.
Agreed.
And we'll skip over all those, and next up then is going to be the first reading. Okay.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, point of order. Since these are public hearings, we do need to continue those.
Okay.
So I think you could do a blanket continuation if you just list out each of the 4 items and that you're going to continue them all to the August 11th date.
Okay. Would somebody like to do that on all 4 items? Just make a motion to continue each ordinance and resolution.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to continue Resolution Number 18, Series 2025, Resolution Number 19, Series 2025, and Resolution Number 20, Series 2025, and
As well as ordinance 5.
as well as the second reading of Ordinance Number 5, Series 2025, until our August 11th meeting.
Second.
Okay. Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Hanrahan to continue Resolution Number 18, Resolution Number 19, Resolution Number 20, and Ordinance Number 5 to the August 11th, 2025 Board of Trustees meeting. That was seconded by Trustee Britnall. All is in favor?
Aye.
All is opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Now we will jump on to the first reading of Ordinance Number 6, Series 2025, an ordinance of the Town of Silt, Colorado, amending Chapter 2.16 of the Silt Municipal Code pertaining to permanent members of the Planning and Zoning Commission. This is also a public hearing, and I will turn this over to Manager Mann.
Yeah, this item came up as a point of discussion when we went through the appointment of the commission members this year. 4 were reappointed, or not reappointed, but 4 were appointed. And we had some discussion of whether it still made sense to have a 5-member commission with 2 alternates. And it was the direction to go ahead and modify the membership of the Planning and Zoning Commission to consist of 7 full voting members, which would elevate the 2 alternate members to full voting members. But there was also some discussion of clarification, or we went through and did some clarification of what the meeting date is. Twice a year, the meeting falls on the first Tuesday of the month, which is 10 days prior to the first meeting of the town board. And we felt that that's supposed to be a week that we don't have meetings. So we changed the language of the initial meeting, which is the Tuesday following the first Monday of each month, which will always put it the week prior to the town board meeting. That was one change. And then Director Centeno did have a conversation with Planning and Zoning regarding the appointment of the chair and the vice chair. That was an annual, and the commission suggested, and we included it in the proposed ordinance, to change it to a 2-year appointment so that we're not doing it every year. And those are essentially the 3 changes that are in the ordinance before you.
And 4 people to make a quorum.
Correct.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Instead of 3.
Now, does the term for the chair and vice chair need to be written in here? Because I don't remember seeing it in the ordinance. And maybe I just missed it. But I had that question.
I thought it was in there.
It's 22.16.080, page 3.
Oh, okay, so it is in there.
Yes.
All right.
Shall elect chairperson and vice chair.
Oh, and I should say that we did gender neutralize it, and we're calling it a chairperson.
The chairperson.
See that?
Okay, and then the only other one I had was on term, the 2.16.040A. Terms of membership shall be 4 years, except that the respective terms of the first 5 members be appointed shall as follows: 3 for a term of 4 and 2 for a term of 2.
That was the original language that was included in when the Planning and Zoning Commission was created in the Silt Municipal Code.
Okay, does that need to be removed, or still?
I don't believe it does.
Okay. I was just curious because it just read a little funny. that's
Now,
all.
I looked at that as well, and I was like, well, that was the initial terms. I didn't think we needed to
Okay.
make any changes to that.
Good enough. I don't have anything else.
Okay. Anything else before I open up the public hearing? No. All right, the time is 7:51 PM, and I'll open up the public hearing for ordinance number 6, Series 2025. Persons desiring to make a public comment on this agenda item, please activate the raised hand function in the meeting program. Or Sheila, any phone calls or emails in regards to this agenda item?
No, sir, I did not hear from anyone.
Okay,
I have no raised hands, Mr. Mayor.
all right, thank you. Anyone in the public like to speak to this? Okay, all right. The time is 7:52 PM, and I will close the public hearing and open it up to further discussion by the board or a motion.
These are good changes. The Planning and Zoning Commission as a whole has been working very hard. They're going to be working harder in the future. I think with the knowledge, some of the new with our existing chairperson and some of the new commissioners, I think giving them all a vote will actually increase their participation. And having tried to sit in on a few or listen to the recordings after, I'm really appreciating the depth of discussion that they're having about stuff. I have a lot of confidence in what they're doing, and a vote for all of them just reaffirms that.
Okay. All right, any other comments or a motion?
No, I guess I'll make a motion. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion approving the first reading of ordinance number 6, Series 2025.
I'll second.
Motion made by trustee Clausen to approve the first reading of ordinance number 6, Series 2025, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Hanrahan. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next up is the first reading of ordinance number 7, Series 2025, an ordinance of the Town of Silt, Colorado, repealing and recreating chapters 9.16, entitled Noise, in section 17.49.030E, entitled Noise of the Silt Municipal Code, related to noise within the town of Silt, Garfield County, state of Colorado. Another public hearing, and I will turn this over to Director Centeno.
Alrighty. This ordinance change went through the subcommittee twice, and we were super diligent about making sure that we kept going back to the drawing board on decibels and that we fully understood exactly what that meant. And even had Chief bring down a decibel meter. And then we also had Chief join us for the conversation so that the police department was able to weigh in and determine if there was enough ground under their feet within the ordinance to actually enforce it if needed. It did go through the it went through the Planning and Zoning Commission as well. They had just two items of discussion that they wanted the board to consider, and that was adding a decibel level to the quiet hours. And then the second one was whether or not we want to add some verbiage within the noise ordinance about idling cars. The conversation was brought up about Golden Gate and it being the idling cars being disruptive to the noise for the River Run community. We did attach a clean version of the ordinance changes because the red line version is slightly difficult to follow. So, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. As far as just from the town staff perspective, as far as adding decibels to the noise quiet hours, we were hesitant to add a decibel level to that, just simply for the fact that we think that the police department may need a little bit more flexibility to be able to determine what is disruptive during the quiet hours. But if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer, or further discuss with you any additional ideas that you might have.
I just have a question. Is it, do they get a ticket? What happens once there is?
So when we talked about it, Chief Kite was more along the lines of, we're not super heavy-handed. If we get a complaint, contact will be made, they'll do a knock and talk, and they'll tell whoever's creating the noise, they'll ask them to reduce it, explain to them that they got a complaint, and they'll give them a time frame in which to reduce it. And then if it does not happen, if they leave and it's not addressed, they will go back and write a ticket for it. So they'll give people an opportunity and educate them first before a ticket is issued.
But if we wanted to do something on idling of the trucks, that would be a different ordinance. Or would we have to come back to this one?
No, I think we could amend this ordinance. It would be part of the approval that the recommended motion, you could amend to add it. But Chief Kite has been out of the office since we've had the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. I have not gotten a chance to further discuss with him exactly what the model traffic code regulations are. I tried to do some research, but it's a little hard to decipher. But it sounds like in the model traffic code, an idling vehicle can run for 5 minutes every 60 minutes. So then it's supposed to be turned off. I don't know. There is a disclaimer in there about safety, and I don't know if that exempts truck drivers if they have to keep a vehicle running for heat or cooling purposes, if that's considered part of safety. So we can get more clarification on that from Chief Kite when he's back in the office.
Okay.
So for the temporary exceptions, it just says a person can apply, and here's what the application has to include. I guess I was curious if there's like a set process, or it's just the town administrator has the discretion to make
We
those
would be
determin-
developing a process
Okay.
with this code or with this ordinance amendment.
Sure. And my thought would be like that we would, I guess, grant it fairly liberally, but not allow excessive noise during the quiet hours, like past midnight, obviously, right? Stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I was just curious, like if there's, I don't know.
In the past
I don't know
5
if
years,
it'll come
we've only had one person come in and ask for an exception to construction noise. That their excavator was leaving town for like 3 months, and they asked if they could work on the weekend to finish the excavating a foundation. And so we granted that so that they could get through that process.
Usually people don't ask, probably.
They typically don't ask, so, but it was, that's the only time that we've had somebody come in and ask.
Okay.
I was actually in favor, I think it was Jack, one of the planning and zoning commissioners. I can't remember his last name, so I'm using his first name, so I apologize. He had advocated for having a decibel level set for quiet hours, not as much for police enforcement, but for public awareness. Right now, there's no measure available during quiet hours. So the presumption is what? Well, then it must be normal daytime hours. It makes it unenforceable.
Right.
I think that's the challenge. Was we've got to publish something so people have a baseline of awareness, and then as PD has expressed they want to do, and I respect that, they can be soft touch. They can go out there and talk with them, but right now there's no baseline. There's no value to hold anyone accountable to.
You have to give people something to.
Yes, that
A rule to follow, so they know
right.
they're following.
We need to provide them sufficient information so that they can be compliant. Because right now, the PD can't go out there and they can say, we think you're being too loud. Based on what?
I have a new question that came to mind, actually. What about, can we let the airport know that they're violating our noise ordinance?
There, we did add a
Now that we have one?
subsection in there that is within a mile of town. So if the noise is originating within a mile of town limits, but we can't do anything about it.
It also has to exceed a certain decibel amount at the property line of the complainant.
Right. Okay.
And we're not going to be, I mean, we can't enforce a mile outside. I mean, if it's 10 feet on the outside of city limits, then
Our attorneys wrote it in a way that they said we could. Yeah, I'm not 100%
Jurisdiction issue,
sure.
isn't it? Because that would be county sheriff for enforcement.
If I created a noise that was such a nuisance that it was bothering people in Glenwood, I think they should still have, they're still aggrieved, right? Whether, even though I'm,
Yeah, if our attorney says it's good to go, I just find it very hard that
Right.
some farmers, running a tractor at 2 a.m. and you're gonna get him to turn it off because he's in your backyard and you don't like it, so.
I think it would just depend, yeah.
I know other municipalities, and I think we'll be okay, because 65 is pretty much right on the limit.
And now I'm looking at it right now. 65 is a conversation.
Yeah, so what we've ran into in the business I'm in is an outside air conditioning condenser can run at 85 or 95 decibels. And so your neighbor's gonna call and the cops are gonna come over and tell you have to shut your air conditioner off because your neighbor doesn't wanna listen to it, when there's no manufacturer making a piece of equipment that's that quiet.
Yeah, and that's where we went back and forth and back and forth, and then we kept having to bring ourselves back to, okay, it's from the receiving complainant's property line. So it may be 85 like up close, but when you get farther away, what is it reading at? I walked around town pointing the
that's true,
decibel
yeah.
meter at everything.
Everything to see what you could do.
It was a lot of research.
It's not an easy
It's not.
discussion, and we have spent a lot of time talking about, all right, so I've got my window AC unit in, a bearing's going in it somewhere, and it's making a horrible noise, and it's 100 degrees out. I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
It's gonna, and I think that's where the soft touch approach is where we're gonna be in a lot of this.
I live in a townhome, so I'm especially sensitive to the distance argument. But again, it's coming up with an acceptable level of standards that works for 3,600 people,
3,819,
3,800 people. Look at that. When did that happen?
last week.
I agree, but I think we do need to start somewhere. I guess if we end up,
Yeah.
police department comes in here and says we have 900 noise complaints we dealt with last month, then we probably need to dig into it a little deeper and see, but let's start a standard and see where to go from there. Something's better than nothing.
How do we feel about quiet hours, though? That again, to me, is the big missing piece, having a number, having a value there.
No, well, it's kind of. I mean, according to what we have, anything below 65 is quiet hours. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Right, so
It's kind of
technically
implied,
then the
yes.
max sound level for other times of the day would apply during quiet hours. Because there is no other value assigned to quiet hours.
So you're looking for what should it be that,
Or should that subcommittee, which I happen to be on, have to go back and come up with a quiet hours or quiet time baseline? Again, I think it's,
Or do we approve this as is currently with the thought that we allow her to talk, Director Centeno to talk to Chief when he returns, and we can add that into the second
this is the
reading
first
to
reading. Yeah, we
continue
could
on.
absolutely do
So
that.
we're not getting bogged down this
Yeah.
evening with something that we don't necessarily want to get into yet.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that.
I mean, after looking at all of these different decibel charts online, like conversation is like 60. 60 to 65 is normal conversation. It almost appears our values are a little too low because a vacuum cleaner is 85. So somebody's vacuuming their front porch.
Please don't do it at 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, just don't do it 11 o'clock at night. Yeah.
Someone's vacuuming at 3 in the morning. That's a different conversation.
Call the cops. Just kidding.
I'll SWAT.
Just kidding, yeah. Don't do that.
Yeah, and I'm not expressing what I think the number should be. I'm only expressing that there should be one. I think we have a duty to the public if we're rewriting the code to say, these are the standards.
Yeah, I mean, want to be restricting people too much, but I also think that our citizens don't want to hear their neighbor vacuuming their front porch at 3 o'clock in the morning either, and we should
Don't live near Chris, FYI.
respect that. We should try and protect them. So that obviously that's the balancing act. It sounds like they've done a lot of research. But yeah, I don't want to be overly restrictive either.
Director Centeno, what kind of readings were you getting walking around?
So when I was up close to something, it was reading close to those decibel readings. But then as soon as I was maybe in the middle of the street or from a property, like an adjacent property line, I wasn't getting anywhere close to those readings. But it was also hard to compartmentalize because cars would drive by and then all of a sudden it would go up and then it would go back down. So trying to determine exactly what noise was being read is difficult when you're out walking with it also. But we even did it in chamber here when we were having a staff meeting, and right up close, we were reading right around like 65, 70 if one of us was laughing. And then Chief walked over to the door and we were reading between 45 and 50. So just that little bit of distance took it down by a read of 10.
Okay. Yeah, I think we start somewhere. The chief about quiet hours, or the subcommittee can have a further discussion about quiet hours.
That works.
Okay. Anything else?
I will add that there is a subcommittee meeting next Tuesday, that if you wanted further discussion on this matter, we could certainly put it on the agenda if you choose to continue moving it forward. So that's entirely up to the board.
I feel like we can get that quick. Just ask Chief Kipe, what would you recommend? Okay, again, baseline it.
Yeah.
Let's get it put in there and we can adjust it as needed.
Okay. Anything else before I open up the public hearing? Okay. The time is 8:09 p.m. and I'll open up the public hearing for ordinance number 7, series 2025. Persons desiring to make a comment on this agenda item, please activate the raised hand function in the meeting program. Or Sheila, any phone calls or emails in regards to this agenda item?
No, I have not heard from anyone.
Okay.
I do not have any raised hands.
Thank you. And we have nobody left in the chambers with us, so. Time is still 8:09 p.m. and I will close the public hearing. Open up to further discussion by the board or a motion.
I'm on the subcommittee. I can't make the motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve the first reading of ordinance number 7, series 2025, asking the subcommittee and Chief Kite to have some conversations to set some baselines for decibel level during quiet hours.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion by trustee Brittenell to approve the first reading of ordinance number 7, series 2025, directing the subcommittee to discuss quiet hour decibel readings and regulations with Chief Kite. That was seconded by trustee Engelhardt. All's in favor?
Aye.
All's opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Now we got some manager and staff reports.
The only thing I'm going to add is that the population from the state demographer is 3,819.
You said as of last week?
Well, as of,
We're growing fast.
as of,
Wasn't that a 2024
it
number?
was a 2020, I'm trying to,
I was gonna say, if it's 2024 number, it's probably not accurate because we got people living in apartment buildings that weren't here before, so that might even increase.
yeah.
We might be fourth.
It was the 2024 number. I'm just looking for what specific date, whether it was January 1 or July 2024.
Okay.
So a year ago.
A year ago? Okay. All right. Okay. Any other staff reports?
I would like to bring to everybody's attention that we have a concert Friday. That'll be a really great Journey tribute. That's going to be opened by Almost Utah, which is a local band, and we're looking forward to seeing everybody there. And save the date for Hairball, August 28th. It's a Thursday leading into Labor Day weekend. And that's going to be, we're going to have a ZZ Top tribute opening, and then Hairball will be what I'm foreseeing as a really big concert. So make sure you save the date. Take the next day off.
Start your weekend early.
Weekend early, okay.
And Mayor Pro Tem Hanrahan has big plans for everybody that comes.
May involve bubbles.
Is he doing his Halloween costume early?
No, but stay tuned for that. But that is also being worked on.
Okay. Anything for us, Lundy?
I just want to make everybody, all the trustees aware of Lyons subdivision. Their ductile iron pipe has kind of showed itself again. They had one fire hydrant line blow apart. The pipe just rotted away. So that'll be upcoming projects trying to get some of that ductile out of the Lyons subdivision.
Where was this at?
It was over on Fawn Court.
Okay.
What year did that subdivision go in, or what years, I guess?
I think it was in
30 years ago.
30 years ago.
Yeah, 30 years ago, so.
I worked,
Late 90s,
yeah.
Okay.
I'd say 96, 98-ish.
Okay.
Worked on a bunch of that.
Steel pipe, Russ.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but was there plastic on that pipe?
There was.
Oh, there was. Okay, they actually did put
What it
plastic.
is,
Okay.
once that coating gets dinged, you know,
Uh-huh.
it just, the moisture
Oh,
in
yeah.
our soils just eat it up.
Okay.
How deep is that?
How deep is it?
Yeah.
About 5.5 foot deep.
Can't remember. I put a lot of that in, but I can't remember working for Kelly.
Basically, 2 of the cul-de-sacs have been redone, and
Oh,
the other
only-
2.
Well, the pipe between the 2 houses on Pheasant Cove has been replaced. The ductile
Okay.
was taken out of there. And Pioneer from Pickett east has been replaced, but the rest, there's about 2,000 feet of ductile left in that subdivision.
Oh, okay. So you just went between the houses and tied in the
Right.
cul-de-sac. Okay, okay, gotcha. All right. So yeah, there's a lot of it that needs to be replaced.
Yeah.
I guess on a different note, it looks like the Camarillo is tied into Orchard.
They have.
Oh, okay. Do you have?
They have sewer and water they have tied in.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to make the assumption they'll have it all paved and everything by.
With that
winter?
subdivision, I wouldn't assume anything.
Okay. Well, they're making progress anyway. It
Yes.
appears, yes. Oh, and then Ballard Avenue. I saw the signs where you guys are
Ballard, they
redoing
started
the curb and
prepping for
gutters.
sidewalk, and I'm hoping to have some concrete done by the first of next week and the next week at the latest.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Is our strategic planning retreat here?
Yes.
So not a retreat as such,
Well, you're retreating to the board chambers.
are we?
Yes.
Now I'm gonna get yelled at tomorrow morning, but does anybody want to serve on the River Center Board?
What are their meetings like? I'll be curious. How often do they meet? What are the times?
Yeah, that was on my questions to ask too,
I
is
just read your mind and it's easy.
dangerous.
So we are having a meeting next Monday.
This is the strategic planning non-retreat.
Do we have a time? Is it
6 PM to 9 PM.
perfect? Just wanted to confirm.
I have a scheduling conflict
You had told me that.
for the 21st. Okay, I told you that?
You had told me that.
Okay.
And it's caviar and champagne? Just ignoring me now.
Couldn't miss this for that. Those aren't even my things.
I do not have a date and length of meeting, but I can find out.
If we get some information, maybe bring it
Yep.
back to us next week.
Yep.
Next week.
Yeah.
Will do.
See who is interested. See what fits.
I see you have a sketch of the path under the bridge.
Yes.
Is that value really calculated or estimated?
That was estimated by the town's engineer.
I say, while we're on that, even if the cost was double, I think it's something the town has to get done with this subdivision.
I agree. If we don't do it now, it never gets done.
Yeah, you don't have any argument for me. I agree.
As it says in there, and as it was, like we've discussed, there's parts of the trail through the Glowing Canyon that are not accessible all times of the year due to high water flows. It's not a long enough time that it's not available to justify not doing it.
And then is the disc golf gonna need anything from the town to get that to an 18-hole course?
Yeah, we had a meeting with them last week and they are going to give us their wish list of the ideal disc golf course.
Okay.
And then we'll sit down and meet with them again and figure out how the town can help support their endeavors. Yeah.
And do we have a schedule for community park? We haven't talked about it in a little while.
Not as of yet.
Okay.
When Engineer Walter gets back, it's on our agenda to get actual grading drawings done so that we can proceed to the bid phase. And we'll end up talking more about it, but it's likely going to be a two-phase project because we do not have adequate resources to put the community's desired water feature in phase one. So we'll have to do that as a second phase and figure out through capital planning how we're going to afford to do that. That'll be part of our budget discussion this year.
Okay.
Nicole, I want to go back to disc golf for just a brief question. Can we ask those same people to bring some data about demand and use in our area? Is it growing? If so, by how much? Like, what are the expectations on increased usage if the town commits to helping them improve it?
I can just say that I have seen quite a bit of usage, but maybe that's, I don't know if it's more usage than there's been in the past, or just that I've been up in that area throwing horseshoes a lot more at the horseshoe pits, because the two areas intersect a little bit. We work well together. Their first tee box actually goes over the top of the horseshoe pits, so we all like just duck and cover while they throw it initially. But it works out really well. Have a good time with it all. We heckle them a little bit if they have a bad throw. It's fun. But I've noticed there's a lot of people there on Sunday afternoons. I mean, there was one weekend we came. There's a group of like 15 people that were all there, and then we did have a group that was from out of state that was camping up Garfield Creek, I think it was, that they were working, did some work with the Forest Service. And they came down into the park over by the skate park, and they're up in the ball fields playing some games. Had some of the guys doing that just came into Silt just because they saw it as a place that they could get away from their campsite for a little bit. So it's
Yeah,
kind of neat. There's been a lot of use. I see a lot up there though.
That's good to know. I have a friend, Jake, who is like semi-professional disc golf or whatever that means. I think when we talk about costs, it helps to know value. And there are also other conversations going on in like the EDP and the Chamber and Garfield County Commissioners about tourism. So just thinking to those larger topics and how this layers into the appeal of Silt as a tourism destination. That was why I was asking.
Yeah, the gentleman did tell us that our setup here in Silt is the best one in Mesa, Garfield, Picken, and Eagle County.
So if we had 18 holes, we'd be
Even better.
They do
Bomb.
have it set up
That's what I
for
heard.
18 holes. We're using 3. So they did kind of do a makeshift one, but we'd like to get them at a full 18 without reusing.
And you were like, give us your list of just the ideal.
We told them king for a day. Tell us what the number one thing we would need to do to support all of this. And they're excited. They were excited. They're working on a plan that they're going to submit back to us, and then we can take that to the Parks and Rec Committee and figure out how we can help allocate funds to support that, because it is unique. And they said that they have it on their website and on a state website that people can find it. They said that a lot of people come from out of town and stop. And then the couple gentlemen that we met with are local. One of them lives right next to the start of the first basket, and then the other one lives up in Eagles View. And so they said that they're there all the time, and that they're consistently kind of tour guiding people through from out of town, and that they're like, oh, we're going to come back with our friends. And they had said somebody from Denver has stopped by. So I think it's more well known, and it gets used more than I even gave it credit for. So we'd definitely like to support upgrading and doing whatever we can. They did express the need for some wayfinding, so we can work on all that.
Ask the horseshoe guys, come on.
Well, we've actually, I mean, there's been some people come, they're like trying to throw, and we're like, oh no, you start here, kind of point them in the right direction to get them
Nice.
going at least.
Yeah.
We all work together.
I'll be for wayfinding signs if we update the ones at the dog park.
It ties into tourism and encouraging people to tour the community and that kind of thing, and it's a healthy activity. So that could, we could like tie it into the park, the pivot, it sounds like it already is. So
Yeah.
make that cool, even cooler. I don't know.
But yes, with weather allowing, I see people out there in the winter time, doing it too. So
Yeah, he said they do it year round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have we heard anything about tying up the Silver Preserve dinner with the CML dinner?
We have not heard anything from CML at this point.
They just got done with their conference. They're probably all on vacation.
And nothing else on Roy Moore either?
We're,
They said that they should have an update for us by the second board meeting of July. They were waiting on an appraisal from their side that took longer than expected.
Okay, that's all. Don't have any more questions.
Okay. Updates from the board and board comments.
I'll just say thank you for the wonderful job that all of you guys do to keep the town running the way it does. Department Director Lindane, and the town administration, and Centeno, and the financing team, everyone really. I don't ever want to underestimate the passion and the work and, the extra that each one of you, I know that you do to keep the town running greatly. So thank you very much, and thank you for my colleagues in the board for working hard to keep our town going great.
Okay. Trustee Engelhardt.
Thank you. So I just wanted to update about the CML conference. That was a couple weeks ago, and Trustee Poston was there as well. I took notes. I'm not going to tell you all the notes, but I found it incredibly useful. I have a whole bunch of PowerPoints that I'm going to share with everyone. It's basically 2.5 days of seminars. So some people totally hate this environment, but for me, it's actually pretty enjoyable. And you go to all these different classes. And so some of them are sort of big idea, like how to live a bucket list life. And then some of them are just different examples from towns. So one was how to support the arts in your town. So I spent an hour listening to something about that. And so for strategic planning for the budget, one, which I'm not going to be able to be here, but one idea that I heard was to get maybe a dedicated source of revenue for arts. So like when we have the transactional fees for where we have to have the park dedication. So then some towns have a certain percentage of, like a small percentage of that park dedication has to be dedicated to like the arts or the creative industries. Some towns have a completely dedicated creative industry district to help, because they feel like if you don't give a place for artists to be in your town, then they're just not going to survive, basically. And so some of the examples, you'll see just how beautiful the town is. Manitou Springs, they gave a presentation that was really great. And so it's just like 2.5 days of stuff like that, and all incredibly useful. One that really stood out to me, having grown up in the Aspen Valley, I got to listen to, and this was on the attorney side, I got to go, they put the attorneys in a different building, and I actually got to go to both buildings, so that was kind of cool. And that one was, this one seminar was about short-term rentals, and it was presented by the woman who is the city attorney for the city of Breckenridge, and she was previously the county attorney for the county of Summit County. So the pressure from Denver and internationally to really commercialize the residences is like insane for this woman. And she helped carve out regulations to favor local homeowners over like outside people, and she defended it, and they sued her anyways because these people are, they want to open up that income stream, these big money types. So she was able to defend the town and just like impart all this wisdom. And I just sat there and listened to her talk for an hour. And then I have her email address, I have her PowerPoint, just talking about ways to really protect your town and to empower your town and to use it as a tool that shapes your community and to use it wisely. So just all kinds of things like that. I mean, they passed out like, are you in a pickle because your PDF documents are not ADA compliant? And like, it sounds like a very random problem to have, but everybody has this problem when you go to this conference. So just hearing the kind of the collaboration, and you don't have to be on your own with some of these issues. So I found it really beneficial. I'm going to send a zip drive full of PowerPoints to everyone just to peruse. And then if people have questions, I just wanted to kind of explain what it is. Like, it's not just a bunch of people having lunch all day. We go from class to class to class with a short break in between. It feels like kind of like college or something, and you're really, it's like drinking from a fire hose. There's a ton of information, and I really enjoy it, and I fully intend to I tried to just pack it all in there so I can bring it back and just utilize all of that information in my role as the board trustee. So there you go.
The governor came up too and did a presentation for about 40 minutes, talked about the effort in Prop 123. He's focusing housing, and it actually came to mind. I know, the Senior House Authority needs a lot of assistance, but since his outline was that there is so much out there, it made me think to ask if there are anything on those pool of funds that could be used potentially for that as well. But yeah, I echo everything that Trustee Engelhardt said. It's definitely something very enriching that helps us come back, sit here, and as conversations come along, we can tune in with all the knowledge that we bring from those types of conferences, and to have a presence too with other leaders, and that repetition of meeting different places, it really does help build connection.
Very nice.
Yeah. And I think that's going to be my only thing that I talk about today.
Trustee Britnell.
Just thank town staff, thank the citizens for coming in. She mentioned several times that she sees a lot of things that we wouldn't believe or different things. If there's things that you see that are concerning to you, feel free to call the non-emergency line, talk to someone at town hall, talk to chief. They'll get people out there to look at it and approach it and see what it is. And I mean, because we all want what's best for the community as a whole. We don't always agree on what is right and wrong and what people's thoughts are on that. Some people think that some things they don't agree with what other people do, which is fine. That's part of being in a free country where we get to make those choices for ourselves. But you also want to be respectful of your neighbors and all that. And that's something like with the noise ordinance we're talking about and all those things. So just thanks for all the hard work on all that.
Okay. Trustee Clausen.
I don't have anything tonight other than good job, staff.
Really?
Yes. Do you want me to pick you back up?
Mark this date on the calendar.
Well, I think you guys do a great job too. I'll say that too.
Trustee Seifert.
I just want to, I thanked him beforehand. People around 16th Street and Highway 6 want to thank Joe for fixing the sidewalk. It's really nice. People can ride their bicycle. Larry Antonelli really likes it because he always got he has that old bike and he was in that dirt and and then there was a lady walking her cycle, so they repaved all that. So people really I just want to thank Joe in getting that done.
I'll pass it on to Public Works.
We'll see when it rains, but it looks like it's sloped pretty good. So
Yeah,
I think
we'll see. We need some rain.
yeah, I think it's really good. Now I see that for sale, so they're moving out over here, I guess, so. That's it.
Good. All right, Mayor Pro Tem.
Just briefly, I've had a couple of interesting conversations with residents in the last few weeks, mostly about complaints and issues. But the interesting part is that in the middle of complaining about something going on, they've gone out of their way to compliment town staff. So that's not coming from me. I do appreciate your work, but I don't want to be redundant. That's actually coming from the citizens who, in the midst of complaining about something, were like, oh, but the clerk was great, or Nicole was great. You were called out by name. You were super responsive to them. So that's just not coming from the board. The citizens are actually experiencing it themselves. So thank you.
That's it. That's it. The only thing I've got, and I don't even know how many people are paying attention, going to rewatch this, but just be vigilant and lock your cars at night. Eagles View, Stony Ridge has been having someone go around getting into cars lately, so be vigilant out there.
Is it smash and grab?
No, it's so far it's just been unlocked vehicles from what I've noticed. They did try and open a sliding glass door on a home where a person was home. Not a smart choice because there are many armed citizens in Silt. So a fun night of being a teenager could turn into your last night out. So yeah. Other than that, thank you to staff. I know you guys have put a ton of work into Rislinda. While we didn't get to where we need to be at this point, I assumed there were still many conversations that happened. And I can admit that I did not put town staff in a great position for these conversations with this developer, but I'm here for the citizens of Silt, and we deserve what we deserve. Other than that, we do have an executive session. So I will read that. We'll go into executive session, then we can take a quick break to get that all set up. So, I make a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of determining positions relative to matters that may be subject to negotiations, developing strategy for negotiations, and instructing negotiators under CRS section 24-6 -4024E in regards to the Anderson property, and for discussion of a personnel matter under CRS section 24-6 -4024F, the town manager evaluation.
Second.
All right, we have a second to go into the executive session by Trustee Clausen. All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All's opposed? Motion carries unanimously.